Here to help. Has changed overnight, but Buick and GMC's commitment to you remains the same. We understand you want to feel safe, so we're offering current owners OnStar Crisis Assist services. Should you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months with deferred payment options for 120 days. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home. Visit our websites for the help you need. Buick and GMC, we're here to help.
How you doing, all? Welcome home, and welcome back to a Friday night. We are at 7:30, a little bit after p.m. evening, and this is the fourth and final installment of the Financial Literacy Film Festival, an ongoing series that we've been doing, again, 4 weeks, pretty much the entire month. And it is also, being financial literate in this month. This is the month that's supposed to be educational about your finance and helping you understand, educate yourselves, etc. And so this is coinciding and at the same time doing a project that is 4 nights long and an hour and a half a piece per, getting you the opportunity to watch some original short films having to deal with the topic and the subject, and getting to meet, educate yourselves, inform yourselves, and have some fun with, maybe a little bit, with the people that put this project together and put the projects together that are the short films within the broader context of the Financial Literacy Film Festival. So all of that has been brought to you, and again, we're wrapping up tonight, the finale, and we're gonna, same format, gonna meet with actors, directors, producers, etc., that have been working on the projects that we've been doing. So 2 every night, 2 every Friday night. And so you, in essence, will have 8 short films that you would have the luxury of watching and the privilege of watching over the course of a full month. And again, the opportunity, which I think is kind of cool personally, because I'm not in that world, the film world, but I think it's cool to talk to people that have worked on or responsible for the projects individually, and this larger project of Financial Literacy Film Festival as a whole. So I've had a good time. I'll do that up front. Let's put it all on the table now. I've had a good time doing that, and just as a layman, just regular Joe, Jose America, I've had fun talking to the different people involved and the different people doing the work in bringing film to you and educating you on financial literacy. So, the regular folk, the regular people, they're doing jobs, they're working, they're skilled in a specific craft, in this case, the film industry and aspects of it. But I've learned a lot. I've learned some things. So nothing ventured, nothing gained, for sure. But if you get that opportunity to learn a little bit more about something you didn't know, now you know, and that's always a good thing. So we're going to get started on the program right now, but as always, being the vet that I am and with veterans that are involved with all these projects that we do, and because you should just do it anyway, we're going to begin with rendering of our national anthem. Let's go ahead and cut to that. How you doing, young man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What's your name?
My name is Daniel Armenta, and I'm from Houston, Texas.
Daniel in Houston, Texas. So Daniel, give me something about yourself before you tear up this national anthem. Give me something about yourself that, aside from the music, makes you unique and different and will make people want to come back and listen to you or watch you again.
Oh, geez. Well, one thing unique about me is I'm starting all this music stuff on my own pretty young. I'm actually 18. I'm about to graduate high school. Hopefully I'll get to walk with all this COVID-19 going around and all that. All the graduation stuff has kind of come to a halt, but we're hoping that that'll settle down. And but yeah, I'm a very young musical songwriter, and I'm really, really interested in fields of science. I plan on going to a college to study forensics and criminal justice to be a CSI, so I'm super, super excited about that. All my music, I've only released one song called Because of You on all streaming platforms. My main purpose inside my music is just to connect with the person listening and just to convey the emotions and convey the feelings and the story of what I'm trying to get across. So,
good man, good man. So real quick sidebar before we get started here. My son's also a vocalist. He's a little older than you, but we do music, and it's all about the vocal instrument, right? The instrument.
yes.
I tell you what. Find me on. I see you're able to watch this, but go to Supermix International. Find me and hit me up. Friend me on Facebook, if not on YouTube, because I'd like to hear more of your stuff other than the national anthem tonight.
Awesome. Thank you
Sound
so
good?
much. I'll absolutely do that.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give us your stuff.
Alrighty. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaked, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So deadly serious. Make sure you hit me up on Facebook so I can hear some of your other music too. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate you spending some time with us. Appreciate you letting us use your vocal instrument a little bit. And nothing but love for you out in Texas.
Thank you so much. You guys too.
All right. Stay safe, young blood. Thank you very much.
Too.
All right. That's kind of cool. Got a young blood doing his thing. That's a rough job. I mean, so for all of us, right, we're older. We actually had high school graduation. We actually had an end to our school year. But that young man and his age right now, the seniors are not. Just a interesting sidebar, not interesting, but a sidebar to consider for those of you parents that do have kids that age, and just be mindful of the fact that be thankful of what you get that others may not get, because that young guy just lost his entire senior year. I'm sure he'll get through it and deal with it. He seems like an upbeat, generally nice young guy. So really cool to have him. And moving forward, get into the body of our program. And again, thank you for being here. Got a full show for you tonight to wrap up with a lot of different people, a lot of good people that are involved with these projects, including the 2 short films that we're going to preview for you tonight. And you get the opportunity to watch free. You can't go to a theater, can you? No, you can't. So if there's no theater, you might as well get your content and your movies and short films in other forms. And so we have 2 for you tonight that we're going to get to in a short bit here. But we're going to have some, we're going to go to commercial first or the show, the movie?
We're going to have Mr. John Duffy to talk about safety for Sarah.
Okay, there we go. Mr. Duffy. How you doing, sir?
Yes, sir. Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing outstanding. Thank you for being here. So you're going to enlighten me. By the way, I'm not from the film industry, so I'm a layman, and I'm eager to learn a few things from the people that have been doing this work for a long time. So safety for Sarah, what have you got for us?
Yeah, just a quick. Sarah Jones was a 27-year-old woman who was working on a film crew, a movie down in Georgia called Midnight Rider, and she was working in the camera department. And because of a bunch of bad decisions on every level by the leadership, the producers, the assistant directors, they were filming on a train track, and they did not check the reality of the fact that there was going to be a train coming through. And a train came through. A lot of the stuff that was on the track hit her. As the train hit it, a lot of furniture that was put on the track with a film company. She was killed, this 27-year-old woman, February 20th, 6 years ago, and a bunch of other people, several others were injured. But since that, that started a movement called Remembering Sarah Jones and Never Forget, Never Again. And so her family, her father, has had this a foundation that they created to remind people that we're all Sarah Jones when we're working on a film set. And there's a slogan, they say, lights, camera, safety. And so it's to remind people the importance of safety when we're making a movie, and putting that as a priority of making sure that people are safe, that we won't have that tragedy occur again on a movie set that unfortunately took away this young woman's life. And every year we've been doing and you're a military vet, we've been doing this thing called PA 101 for military vets, production assistants 101. And it's a free training that we do in Hollywood, put on by Mark August, who is a Navy vet. George Ohan was involved with it this year as well. And every year we do a remembrance to Sarah Jones. We bring in her father on video so that he can talk about the importance of safety, and that we always keep that in mind when we're in a situation of leadership, so that we're not risking people's lives that are serving under us, so to speak, on a film set. So that's a little bit about Sarah Jones and remembering her and putting safety first when we make movies.
Well, I got to tell you, Mr. Duffy, that was an exceptionally concise and really good explanation, because, and no distraction or distinction away from others, but that's the best explanation slash understanding of safety for Sarah that I've heard to this point. So thank you very much, because I mean, clearly you're aware of it, and that was the best way to put it for, again, the layman, right? The layman. As I had no idea prior to helping with this particular project, Financial Literacy Film Festival, I really didn't know what that was or what it entailed. And so that spawned a movement within the industry.
That is correct. And throughout both union and non-union, basically putting safety first and having regulations so that we, in any situation when we're filming, that we have safety talks, that we have everybody's able to raise their objections if something is unsafe.
Right.
Because unfortunately, they didn't get a chance to raise those objections. And if they did, a lot of the crew knew it was unsafe, but they didn't get a chance to put their voice out there. And if they did, it would have saved her life. So we don't want to be in that situation ever again in the future.
No, absolutely. And I do understand that entirely. As you mentioned, I'm a vet. Being in service, you are less likely to open your mouth and say something. And, you know, there's just that fear and apprehension, especially if you're younger and you're, say, newer or you're not as far up on the totem pole, whether it be military or industry or business or whatever, you're less likely to want to come forward and speak some truth to power. And I think this gives that opportunity for anyone, age, experience level, whatever, if they see something unsafe, to speak immediately and forcefully to make sure that we don't have a tragedy, for instance, in this case with Mrs. Jones, or anybody for that matter. Because I would imagine, in your line of work, you do, have to hazard some things to get a shot or a clip or a scene done. Correct?
Correct. Absolutely. And you're right. And there's so many times that you're in that situation, and this puts it at the front of the mind of everybody that safety comes first. And we have to put that first before, and then we can prepare out of that. But we can't put safety on the back burner. That's just not the way to go in the future.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, sir. And, one of these days, maybe I'll get a chance to spend some time and talk to you. Because I'm trying to learn myself more about, your industry. And I'm still kind of at a good point in life where you're nicely amazed at the things that people do in their expertise, but that also know other things and other aspects beyond just their own, skill or profession. And, I think at that point, safety is like, in education, we'd call it cross-curricular. It should cut across all boundaries, all lines, all genres, all whatever. Because if you don't have someone to do the scene, or you don't have someone, to do the work, then you don't have anything.
Absolutely. And I want to commend you and George and KP and other people putting this on, because besides film, I think the whole thing of financial literacy, especially now coming out of this virus,
Correct.
It's a health issue.
Correct.
Making sure that we're financially healthy as
Yes.
well as healthy physically and healthy in other ways. But financial health is a very big thing, and you're doing a great job with this program to create that financial literacy so that people are financially healthy in the future.
Thank you very much. I'm just a minute piece of the much larger. I just agreed for a fellow vet just to help out a little bit. But I tell you what, sir, it was a pleasure meeting you. And I think I may need to want to talk to you a little bit, because it sounds like you have some things and some commonalities that I might want to discuss, just for the by, right? But you sound
100%. I'd love to do that with you and follow up. And I think I'd learn a lot from you as well. And it would be definitely a win-win for both of us to have that conversation.
Too kind, sir, too kind. But I want to say thank you very much for being here and educating us and all of us on safety for Sarah. Thank you very much, sir.
You're very welcome.
Have a good evening.
You too.
All right. No joke. I think in the process of speaking to someone, right, you kind of get the idea, or the concept, the understanding, the insight that he might know a few other things, and I might want to talk to that guy again. He sounded interesting. Some of the things he was talking about specifically, obviously on safety, that's just for all of us. Yes, that should be a simple and an understood thing, but clearly he has insight into a lot more than just that aspect, because that's one aspect of things that he knows. That was kind of cool. I didn't even ask him where he was broadcast from. Probably not close, but anyway, Mr. John Duffy says here, Hollywood producer and knowledgeable in his craft and his field. And thank you, sir, for giving us. I'm going to say it again, a very, very concise and well put layman's explanation of safety for Sarah. Some of those things I did not know until right now. So again, thank you, Mr. Duffy. Okay, so we are going to, where are we going next, KP?
Commercial.
We are going to commercial, and I believe when we come back, we're going to get to our first short film of the evening on the Financial Literacy Film Festival. We'll be right back. Hey, so do you cut me off?
My name is Andre Andrews, United States Navy. I'm here at Warriors Road program. We are here at Dark Horse Ranch, sponsored by the American Legion and Replay Polo. Warriors Road is currently a veteran-owned and operated nonprofit program. We are here to teach veterans horsemanship skills and how to ride horses. I know a lot of veterans get out of service or get into service and need an outlet. We're here to kind of provide the veterans an extended outlet once they're out for their past service to get opportunity to get some equine therapy. Whether you can ride a horse or you can't ride a horse, it's still applicable to come here and join our program because you still get to learn a lot about ranching and about the equestrian world. I'm going to give the veteran the opportunity to meet, greet, groom, and also ride the horse via our veteran experience of Warriors Road. I know a lot of veterans who've gotten out the service who know nothing about horses, come join our program, leave learning a lot about horses. And that's pretty much our main goal. One of our secondary goals is to provide the veteran with an outlet that's unlike any other. Once you've come take part in our programs a few times, we allow the veteran to come tack up his horse and get the opportunity to go ride and exercise all of our available horses. So the veteran gets the opportunity to go through some trail riding, go ride through the parks, and garner a better understanding of the human to horse relationship. Take control, all right? So now that you got control, come over here. Let me get you to hop on. Just kicking the hips. That's all they really need, you know what I mean? What we would like to be able to do fundamentally is raise funds for more horses, more saddles, more food, and more gear. This is a very expensive sport. This is a very expensive nonprofit. But the things that we provide for the veteran community is priceless. So with your help, we'll be able to do a lot more for our veteran community.
Life insurance policy. You and I have similar purposes in this world. It is your job to provide food, clothing, shelter, schooling, medicine, and other things for your loved ones. You do this while I lie in your safe deposit box. I have faith and trust in you. Out of your earnings will come the cost of my upkeep. At times, I may seem insignificant to you, but someday, and who knows when, you and I will change places. When you are laid to rest, I will come alive and do your job. I may provide food, clothing, shelter, schooling, medicine, and other things that your family will continue to need, just as you are doing now. When your work and labor is done, mine will begin. Through me, your hands will carry on. Whenever you feel the price of my upkeep is burdensome, remember, I can do more for you and your family than you'll ever do for me. If you do your part, I will do mine. Sincerely, your life insurance policy.
Welcome back, all. Some commercials for you. So, moving along, pretty good clip here. Got yourself a national anthem. Got yourself a Hollywood producer to impart some wisdom and some explanation for a very, very important aspect. Something I've taken for granted. I think most of us do. If you're regular folk, you don't think about the danger, right? About a movie or a television show or anything, any type of production where there might be something dangerous, something as simple as, I'll say simple without the levity, but something as simple as, being mindful of a train schedule, and here you go, you have a tragic accident because someone didn't do that, here's one thing that I did like about that quick query with Mr. Duffy. I think he may be the only person we've had on over the last 4 weeks, that actually said something that wasn't, like everything's all good. No, he pointed out something that was not good because someone didn't do their job. And in this world, ladies and gentlemen, you take the good and the bad. It's real simple. The good, you laud, applaud, emulate, and continue. The bad, no, 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 no. You call out, you say something, and you correct. And move it over, watch this, move it over to the good column. The only way you get to do that is by acknowledging that things are not always perfect and things that do not always work out the way we plan. And by doing a good job, being mindful, being careful, being engaged in whatever it is you're doing in terms of a project, knowing all aspects of it, you will not have those types of accidents. So he's the first one that's actually kind of done that in the 4 weeks that we've been here. But if you guys haven't figured out, I'm big on honesty and just being straight. Just tell the damn truth. It's that simple. It really is. Make your life a lot easier, a lot cleaner. Okay, so let's get truthful and straight. And we're going to get to the meat and potatoes and the skinny here of the Financial Literacy Film Festival. We kind of beaten around the bush and tippy-toed around, a lot of different things. But we're going to get the opportunity on this final evening of the Financial Literacy Film Festival, have the opportunity to talk to not just Carlos Ansures, who we spoke to last week, who was a principal in putting the project together, but also George Ohan, the man, the myth, the legend, who's also a major component, if not the prime mover, in putting the entire project together, because we do need to get a few things fleshed out for all of us so that the concept and the understanding of what we're doing here, the Financial Literacy Film Festival, financial, fiscal literacy, understanding, and knowledge, education, moves forward beyond this evening, beyond what we've done tonight, or the 3 prior and successive evenings that have led up to tonight. What good is doing all those things if the information does not carry forward? And quite literally, being an old teacher, what good's a lesson plan if the lesson was not learned? What good is a mission if the objective was not realized? What good is a film product if the message was not conveyed and gotten to the layman, the regular folk, people like you and I watching right now? There you go. So we get the honor and the privilege of having Mr. George Ohan join us to talk a little bit about the Financial Literacy Film Festival and a couple other things that we've got to flesh out before the evening is done. Let's go ahead and get George on. There he is. Oh, you got me beat. You got me beat already. Okay. Wardrobe malfunction on my part. You got me beat. Yep, that one right there. All I've got for you is that. Let's see if we could do that. There you go, George. Black and gold, homeboy. So that is our commonality for George and I, and that is the way George got me into being a part of the Financial Literacy Film Festival, other than the good concept and the good message underlying that we're trying to get across, is that we're both veterans. So I got number love for the homeboy. All right, George, so give us a little bit about the things that we needed to tie together from the 3 prior weeks coming into tonight, and some things that we need to carry over once we're done tonight.
It's the audio.
Audio?
Audio. It's mic.
Not hearing you. See if you got your mic. See if George can.
Can you hear me now?
I got you now. There you go. Good.
All right, awesome. Thank you for the introduction. And basically, little by little, people are piecing this together by understanding what it is. It's hard to explain this in one chunk. And
Correct.
We've been doing this for 4 weeks, and it's still kind of hard to take it all in. This took years and years and years to really put together.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, towards the end of 2019, we decided, you know what, we're doing this. We're going hard, 2020. And you know how it is, military strategy style, just formulate, create the mission, and go after it.
And go.
And that's what we did. And always with the utmost integrity, always with the utmost safety, and always above certain standards that the unions may have on purpose, because we are independent filmmakers. I feel like we are a little bit under the microscope at times. I feel like we are under a little bit more scrutiny, and I welcome it. When people say, hey, what are you guys doing over there? I'm like, check it out. Because I I would challenge to see another film festival where every single film, all of the films in the whole festival, have been sanctioned by the Safety for Sarah logo and the actual program, and follow the compliance to be safety for the entire project. Because we did that, and it was very important. And every filmmaker, everybody. So that's huge for me. The other thing is, we reached out to the Safety for Sarah Foundation well before starting to shoot anything, and we got their approval first to say, will you approve our whole film festival with your brand, with Safety for Sarah, if we do everything compliant and under the safety rules. And when they agreed to it, that's when we moved forward. So we didn't just start this thing and then say, what would be cool? No, we thought about it well in advance. This is the way we wanted to do it. And we've been internally building this thing. John Duffy mentioned the PA 101 workshop. On this particular evening, we're going to watch a film, Cash Plus. Two of the women who worked on that as production assistants, they drove from Texas to come to the Production Assistant 101 workshop to be trained on how to be PAs. And mind you, Richard, people go to college for 4 years in Hollywood to learn how to be a PA. And we got straight up military style 3-day workshop. And on your 4th day, you go to work in Hollywood, trained, ready to go.
On the job training, baby.
Bro, in 4 days, they're going to work. And Mark August, Navy veteran, former president of the Society of Camera Operators there in Hollywood, John Duffy mentioned him. He put this thing together. That's why when Mark called me and said, George, I need help with this, I'm like, yes, that thing is worth it. We need more of that. And it works because these two ladies, we got them trained. They drove back. Dude, you want to talk about dedication? You want to talk about commitment? They drove from Texas to come to California to work on a short film. They're like, but George, I'm working on a movie. And I'm like, hell yeah. So when I know you've been joking around saying, how did George wrangle you? Who got you? And I'm like,
how did you get them?
You bastard. Don't say that. But the people who are part of the project, I know you say it lightheartedly, the people who are part of the project.
But you got to get them. You got to get them.
Kind heart. They love it. They want to be it. They're yearning for the experience. They want that. Imagine somebody gets out of the military. You go to USC, you go to UCLA, you go to whatever film school, and then if you have enough money, you'll go and shoot your thesis film. Right? Well, in this case, it's like, hey, there's this homeboy, George, and he's like, there's a short film. You want to get on a set like tomorrow and start working? Sure, go ahead. That's how we did it. Literally.
Let me back up a little bit. So, I'm trying to process a lot. I had not, and I think you probably heard if you were watching earlier, I had not heard as concise and as direct an explanation of the Safety for Sarah thought as I had from Mr. Duffy. I like that guy. I mean, that was clean. It was a boom, boom, boom.
I can't believe you understood his New York accent.
Well, you know how it is. You're in the Army, you get to learn and understand a lot of yeah, exactly. But no, he was that was really, really, I want to say concise. Everybody thinks concise is short. Concise is about understandable more than anything else. That's right. And so he gave me the best explanation of the Safety for Sarah component that I've kind of heard for the 3 weeks up until now, and then now that you're tying it together. So that was an important component to being a part of what you were putting together, because it's credibility and it's professionalism in making sure that your people are taken care of, and you're not just throwing a project together just to say, hey, look what I'm doing. You made sure your people were taken care of.
Absolutely. Step one. And Richard, here's what's amazing about it. This is just a little wolf pack, a little tribe of people, independent people who are supposed to be like the people that don't know what's going on. Hollywood does not do this on all of their sets. These big budget movies are not doing this on all of their sets. These a lot of people who are involved in this industry, they're not doing this on a regular basis. They're starting to. It's starting to catch on. You could check the hashtag, but this is something that we ensured to do. And I'm going out there and saying we might be the first ones that ever did it on a large scale, as far as calling the whole festival, calling the founder of it, calling the father of Sarah, and saying, hey, this is what we want to do. Is it okay? Do we have your permission? He said yes. That's major.
I think that's, I'm not going to toot your horn too much. You're a vet, but you understand the importance of what? Taking care of your people. You got to take care of your people. You know, I go to my grave saying that I would always put myself in danger before my people. And you do everything you can.
You already know I'm about the teach, coach, mentor mantra. It's from the old school. I know the leadership manual will change now, but it was FM 22100 when I was a sergeant, a staff sergeant in the Army.
That's it.
And I've brought the entire non-commissioned officer, my training, my leadership as an Army soldier to civilian life. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna get down and feel sorry for myself. I'm gonna be that leadership in these communities. I was a staff sergeant before. At one training 300 men on different things, and if I'm out here in civilian life, then people need to look for me to be the leadership, and they need to follow. I lead, you follow.
Right. So, I mean, that's, like I said, you and I could speak all night on that.
Let's get to the movies.
Yeah, exactly. So near and dear to my heart. But so we'll have you back toward the back end so we can wrap up the overall. But thank you very much for that, really good explanation of what we've been going to and moving to over the last 3 weeks. Okay, so the first movie is?
Cash director Michelle Murray, Army veteran también.
Oh, really? Okay, I did not know that.
Yep.
Okay, let's go ahead and cut to movie. Thank you.
Dear Miss Sarah Taylor, this is your final courtesy reminder for your unpaid balance,
Hi, this is Gerald
totaling
$358.47.
A good explanation of what we've been going to and moving to over the last 3 weeks. Okay, so the first movie is
cast director Michelle Murray, Army veteran también.
Okay. May be available for sign. We value your business and look forward to continuing.
Dear Miss Sarah Taylor, you are cordially invited to the Western Division's basketball event on February 19, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. Your son will be receiving the Most Valuable Basketball Rookie of the Year award. This is for the year 2020 in the Western Hemisphere College Basketball Division. Tickets are $200 per guest. Oh, great. More money I've got to come up with. Kevin, what am I going to do? How do I come up with $400?
Hey guys, how'd that cake turn out?
Great, like always, right?
Yeah. Good. Grandma finally gave me her recipe. Off the table. Oh, hey, I'm really sorry I missed your game yesterday. You know I had to work, right?
Yeah, that's fine. You wanna win? My bro was there.
Yeah, that's because my big brother's gonna be the next LeBron James.
Thanks, Cameron.
Oh, I almost forgot. Can you make sure that you get your brother to school next week? It's money to be made, and you know I need it.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Hey, can you watch what you're doing? Stop! You could burn me.
She's not even watching what she's doing.
Oh my
God. It's a wonder this place hasn't been sued. You know what? Can you take a check, please?
Yes, sir. I'll be right back.
Oh, Mom, you're here. Well, since you're here, how about some breakfast?
Oh my God, I'm late for work. I can't, Bub. I gotta go.
Oh, where are you going?
I have a basketball event to go to.
Can I go?
Unless you got $200.
I can ask Mom.
No. She has better things to spend money on.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But this time next year I'll be working, so then maybe you could come?
Oh, okay.
What's wrong, Sarah? I can't find my time card. You don't think about firing me, do you? I hope not. He knows how much I need this job. He knows how much I need the money. I've been working overtime so that Cameron and I can go see Kevin at that awards ceremony. He's worked so hard. Well, how much more money do you need? Here, I got it. Here. Girl, I don't want your money. I need my job. Let me go talk to Bob. Always that stupid phone.
And don't say something you're gonna regret. Oh, hold on. Sarah, if I forget, I don't always do this, but I went ahead and paid you your overtime in advance. But you gotta work it.
Are you serious?
Yes, as matter of fact, both of you gotta work. Come on, you got time to leave, you got time to clean. Let's go, chop. Go on.
Oh my God! Oh, get out of here! You haven't got to prepare for it. Okay. Hey, Bubby. Take these and go get ready.
Where are we going?
To your brother's event.
How? He said the tickets were $200.
Don't play. Just go get ready. Hey, son.
Oh, what are you guys doing here?
There's no way we're gonna miss this.
But how did you get the money?
I guess all that overtime paid off.
I guess it didn't.
Oh, thank you.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Cash Plus, short film. And we have the privilege and the honor of having some of the people involved with that project that are going to be joining us just shortly. And we'll be able to discuss what their roles were and what they took away from their projects and what they mean going forward. So let's go ahead and get some of the people involved with that project up now. Oh, we got 3 on the screen for a total of 4. We're in business. All right, so I've got the two Davids, and I've got Michelle Murray. That's not Michelle?
No.
I don't have the name. I'm sorry. Go ahead and give me your name.
Paige Hale.
Paige. Okay,
Can you
Paige.
hear
I'm
me?
sorry. Okay, that's on a separate sheet. My bad. Technical difficulties on the fault of the host. Own your mistakes. So let's go ahead and start with you, Paige, since I mangled that introduction. Give us your role on the project, your Cash Plus, and what you took away from the project, the message you were trying to get across to the audience.
Well, in Cash Plus, I played the role of Anne, and Sarah's. But
See, freeze. Got cut a little bit there. Okay, let's see if we can get her back up. Let's get to Mr. Doolin in my lower right corner. You go ahead and pick up where Paige left off. Audio. All right, we're going to get there. I need your audio, David. Can you see if you could fiddle with your audio? I'm not able to hear you. Can you work on that? We're going to get to one of them, Mr. Fox. We're going to get to Mr. Fox.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and pick up with Mr. Fox. Are you audible?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
You are audible. Therefore, you are a go. So go ahead and pick up with that question from the other two until we can get them good to go. And give us your role and what the underlying message that you were trying to communicate in the movie was.
Well, Richard, I was the executive producer of the film, and just an honor to actually be a part of it. I got to see it from being written out, what it actually takes. And I was telling you, you're right. When it takes a whole group of people to actually get something like this out, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of people involved in sound, technicians, and producing, and film, and acting, and screenwriting. Like it's amazing to do it. But I was so happy to be able to work with this group of individuals to be able to help us get this message out. Because things are definitely happening just like this situation all over the world today. So it's definitely important to put it in more of a forefront. To have conversations be open in a family today, to where we may be able to help them out financially for their future.
Right. I think, and we've kind of touched on that over the course of the prior 3 weeks, and touched on the importance of learning the lesson that you guys are trying to convey in these short films and in the festival as a whole, trying to convey the message that, especially now when pennies are tight, whether you're an individual or a business owner, small business owner, because by the way, I'm not talking about big business, I'm not talking about corporate. Those people don't watch
exactly.
But I'm talking about regular folk, the vast, overwhelming majority of the populace that is either the individual living the daily life or a small business owner. They're going to have to be really, really careful of how they're spending their money right now. Not just, and I'll say it, I'll put it on the table, not just waiting on a government stimulus check. You're going to have to make some decisions right now. Right now. So, I think that those messages become crystal clear.
Yeah, and those individuals, they don't have to rediscover the wheel.
Correct.
It's like there are people that have already studied this material, already have the knowledge base. We're just trying to get it out to people who are hurting today. So many of the people that I'm helping today, they're just lost. They're not really sure what conversations to have, and how to get the, and that's why we're trying to be used as a resource. Not
Can they still hear you?
I can hear you now. Everybody has to come back in again.
Are they still on?
No, Richard. Everybody's gone. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on, Richard. Stay right there. I gotta get you back on the link.
I'm good. I'm just worried about getting them back.
Yeah, no. Because right now it's not. I'm trying to get you back here. Everything went blank. So hold on a second here. I'm gonna have you come on, Richard. Tell them just gotta stall for a good chunk. If you don't mind.
Gotcha. Do what you got to do. You got to get it back up, right?
Just a second right there.
Okay,
I think we're back up.
No, yeah. Okay, we'll go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for bearing with. So we had a technical difficulty. like that, right? Technical difficulty, on-set technical difficulty. So we will do everything we can, like in a hurry right now. Wizard of Westwood over there is working fingers to make sure we get everybody back on, and basically to pick up exactly where we left off with the 3 individuals that we had working off of the film Cash Plus. And so it looks like I said, we're all good. We're just going to pull the people up. But in the short term, so we had David Fox. He is the executive producer of the film Cash Plus. And David Doolin, the gentleman that was in our lower corner. And then Paige, an actress on the film itself. And so as soon as we get them back up, we're going to talk to them to kind of spell out, their roles and what their roles were and what they were trying to accomplish, etc. Not just doing work, obviously. I mean, you want to be involved with projects. You want to be involved with something that is more meaningful than, hey, I need to do something to earn a paycheck or to earn some experience. You want to do something that actually matters. I mean, that's quite literally where I am in my life. I don't want to do anything unless I know that there's a value to it going forward, and it isn't monetary, trust me. By far, no. I've lived too long to be doing it that way. But you want to know that what you're doing has impact, value, and some importance down the road going forward. That's critical, at least the way I see things, and I'm quite literally asking you to join me in that thought and that concept, is that why do something? And nothing ventured, nothing gained. Is it worth the time and the effort? You'll find as you grow older and you live more that you want to make sure that whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is you're involved with, has impact and meaning beyond the self. And so as we were finishing up there and as we get some of the guests back on screen, we were finishing with David talking about the importance of the message of the Financial Literacy Film Festival right now, apropos of now, because we are currently living through a time, one of the, as a former U.S. history teacher, I can tell you, a very, very unique period, and will be judged so as the history books are written in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 2, 3, 4 decades. Okay, so we, oh, there we go. All right, so Paige, I got you. Got some adjustments here, I got you. They put the screen on you. This is not Paige, I'm sorry. Who do we got? Can I hear you, Desiree? Give me some audio. Can you hear me? You can smile, that's good. I can see you. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, I get it. Can you hear me now? No?
Hello?
There you go, I got you. Can you hear me? No?
I can barely. Please. Steve?
I'll speak up. The connection's not great, but I can see you.
Okay.
And I can hear you.
I can hear you now.
All right, much
Awesome.
better. Okay, so Desiree, right?
Yes.
Okay, you were on that project, the Cash Plus? The actress?
I was. I played Sarah on Cash Plus. Yes.
Right. You're the one doing the happy dance when you got the bonus.
Heck yeah. Don't we all when we get extra money?
Of that whole short film I was watching, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, yeah, that I understand. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very relatable.
Yeah, you didn't have to do too much acting there. That looked real.
You know what? I thought of myself, like if that happened to me, how I would feel, and it was definitely real.
Exactly. Okay, so you were the actress. Give me the character's name again?
I was Sarah.
Sarah. Okay.
Yes.
So give me a little bit on yourself. I mean, is this, so you're an actress, obviously. Have you been doing this a while?
This is all very new. Very, very new.
Oh.
This is the first thing that I've ever done. My cousin Sparkle Sujan has been doing this for a while, and I got interested and said, "Hey, take me to a mixer." And I met a bunch of amazing people, and I was very fortunate to meet Michelle through Facebook, and she posted that there was a part. So
wait a minute, that girl Sparkle, she's your cousin, you said?
She's a cousin through marriage. Yes.
I met her last week.
Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, I met her last week. That girl's a ball of energy.
Yes, very much alike. So I know that you can handle both of us in the room at one time.
There you go. Okay, so it's first project, so you plan on doing more?
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh, definitely. If they would let me, I will totally do it. I was able to bring my kids in there for the movie. So if you notice, Cameron is my son Jonah, and the mean girl in the diner, I think she took out some hidden aggression on me, but that's my oldest daughter, Jillian. And then the sweet little one is my daughter, Jordan, and she was acting very well.
Oh, wow. So that's a family project then, huh?
Yes. And the location itself, thankfully, my brother Stephen Armenta let us use his house. So,
oh wow,
yeah, it was a great project. It pulled us all together, very memorable, with a great lesson.
Okay, all right. So, family project. Give me a little bit on your end of what the meaning or the underlying message from your perspective is.
Well, you know, we grow up thinking we know all about money because we earn it, right? We work our butts off to earn whatever gets deposited into our bank account. And we don't realize that spending 10 here, 20 here on things that are impulse buys,
right,
how quickly our money diminish.
Right.
You know, I thought my kids knew the meaning of financial awareness and stability and literacy. When asked, their answers were actually pretty alarming because they weren't as informed as I assumed. And I don't think I was informed very much either. So it was a blessing for my whole family to meet all of these great people that did this project.
And I'll stay with you there because, I mean, for kids, right, we're supposed to be teaching our kids financial literacy. It's a thing that is taught.
Right.
It's an education.
Definitely.
And if you don't have that in your framework, in your background, then it's going to be hard for them to be able to benefit from that message or education if they've never received it or haven't gotten it right.
Right.
Yeah, so I like that part about it, and I think that's something that communicates well to the layman, the audience, regular people that, you know, are not Fortune 500 CEOs or Warren Buffett. They don't understand the mechanics of the economy or market, but at the base, they still have to learn how to spend their money. The best point you brought up is like the impulse buys, right? A 5 here, a 10 there, a 20 there. And then you get to the end of the month like, where did my money go?
Right.
Exactly.
And then 500 ends up on fast food. Ridiculous, right? Because families of 5, there's no way you go through fast food without spending more than $30. So
30? Where are you shopping? Where are you buying food? That's cheap.
And that's dollar menu. That's what I'm talking about. That's like budgeting, right? You know, another thing that with this movie, a lot of people don't realize what parents give up, the time that they spend with their kids, because they're working overtime, that they can be there for that big moment that the child, you know, earned. And so there's so much that you sacrifice so that you can make sure that your children get and your family gets what they need. So I love the message in these movies. I think it will reach a lot of people, and it's very relatable.
I tell you what, that is one of the best explanations of a message from one of the short films that I've heard from anyone that I've interviewed over the last 3 weeks, because it's real. It's what you deal with at a basic level. At a basic level, this is what people are dealing with. This is what people have to think about. This is how people have to spend money, because if you don't get to spend time at the big moment. You don't get to send your child to a camp or a clinic or a training or, you know, go learn some music. Because those big budget items are out of someone's normal budget. And if you don't have that, what ends up happening is you can go all this and you live a regular life, and then you get to that point and then you have to tell your child no, because you don't have enough at one time.
Yes. And that's a horrible feeling, right? Because you work so hard for this money.
You don't want to say no.
It's the worst feeling to have to tell
Yeah, you don't want to say no. You want to be able to tell them yes so they can keep up with the other kid. And I'll say this, like on our end, that we had to do these things, you know, competitively, to go to this camp, to go to this training, to go to that tournament, to be there to get what the other kids are getting. And before you know it, I mean, you're going broke. It's like, it's expensive.
Exactly.
Very
and you
expensive.
sacrifice things for yourself. You know, as a parent, we still need to work and look nice and do things for ourselves. But that's not even a thought in our mind, because we want to give everything to our children. So
we still got to look good, right?
So that's why Right. That's why it's so important to know how to manage your money, you know?
You know what? I tell you what. I got a simple solution for you that I'm going to come back to David in a second. I got a simple solution for you. Watch this. From now on, I'm going to green light you to just make sure you take 10 to 20% of everything that Sparkle does.
Oh, okay. It's very hard to compete with Sparkle. Yes.
Hey, so if you can't do what she's doing, if she's already doing it, just tell her you're taking 10 to 20% of whatever she does to help the sister out, right?
Hey, definitely. Family love, family love.
When she sees this, she's going to go, what's that guy doing to me?
Right? No, she's awesome. She's awesome. She has a very loving, giving heart. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing with it. See, I do that with George, too. George don't know. You guys don't know me that well. I throw everybody under the bus.
I feel like I've known you forever.
I willingly and knowingly tell people up front, I throw everyone under the bus. And this is why.
Hey, and can I just say that you have completely kept me entertained for the last 3 weeks. So hats off to you. I appreciate you. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it too. But so here's the last part to that ugly comment. Because if somebody's smart, they're going to take that clip and say, I don't like this guy. He throws everybody under the bus. But watch this. I throw everybody under the bus because I tell people up front and I get under the bus with them. That's how you do it. You get in there with them. People don't mind it. People don't mind the ugly if you're dealing it with them. You know what I mean?
That's my theory as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So you stay on, but that was we had a little bit of a glitch there. The wizard worked his wonders, and now we've got he did some Gandalf on the bridge. You shall not pass. He did some of that, but thank you for staying with us. So we got everybody back on. So I've got David. I've lost the other David, but I got Michelle Murray back.
Yay!
Got you in the corner. All right. So we're in good business.
It's funny because you couldn't see me and then I couldn't see you. I don't know what's happening.
It's called, I actually reside in an alternate reality, and then I pop in and out. See how that works? I'm from Richard. All right, so Michelle, we're going to pick up with you because I've spoken to David a little bit. I've spoken to the young lady in my upper corner that's related to Sparkle, getting her 10% out of Sparkle's income. But Michelle, so basically the simple question that I've given to the other two is, tell me what, in your own words, what your role was on the project and what the message was that you saw conveyed out of the project.
Okay, so for those who didn't hear him say, my name's Michelle Murray, and I was the director on the project. And I do want to throw kudos out to my team because my team did a fabulous job. So thank you. We literally had people from all over the country. 5 of us drove from Texas. Some were from LA. Some were from Fresno. People were from everywhere, and they came together. We'd done some table reads and things ahead of time. And anyway, they gelled, and thank you for that. It came out marvelously. But the message that I think that our film sent, we tried to craft it in a way that kind of showed that, hard work pays off, but also, what can happen when you spend more than you make, when you're trying to keep up with the Joneses,
right,
and you have piles and piles of bills. Then when something special comes along, or maybe even an emergency, you don't have the funds because you've already spent it frivolously.
Right.
And so our team did a really good job. They did a great job pulling that together.
No, I really liked, like I said, we talked about some of this with Desiree, that, there were some, and director, right? You're directing this, but that one instant that kind of came across like, boom, real easy and understandable in a short film, where the communication between one actor to the other about, I'm giving you your bonus up front right now, and then her look is priceless, literally priceless. And just, that was a good moment that kind of cut across all of it. And you're like, that in a way, for the layman, for a regular person watching that summed it all up. Because that's a human emotion that's easily conveyed, easily understood, and then carries forward into, the big night that she gets to spend with her family because she has this money that she's worked for, by the way, that she's worked for. So if you directed that was good. That was really good.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and you know what? But I had a wonderful crew and I had a wonderful cast. They took direction well, and also they were very cooperative because even though we ever came together in person and had some virtual rehearsals.
Mhm.
So when we got together, it was just a matter of blocking, and we'd gone through the story, multiple times, and so we had all identified how we could relate to that
Right.
story, and so what that meant to our character and our character arc and character development. And again, I can't thank my team enough. They did a fabulous job. They really, really did.
You're the kind of director everybody's going to come and want to work for again.
Well, let's hope.
Wait a minute. So, okay, so are you one of the ones that drove from Texas?
Yeah, actually, we did come from Texas, and we had just come from Florida about 3 weeks before that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but my entire cast and crew, I think we would all tell you the same thing. We're that passionate about financial literacy. It's that important.
Yeah. Right.
It's absolutely, and not just for the children, especially for the children, but there's a lot of people, I'm 50 years old, and there's a lot of my peer group that doesn't understand how money works. They they live paycheck to paycheck. They spend every dime they get, and they don't understand interest.
That's me.
Yeah, they don't understand. So, but it's okay because we're learning through this festival, right?
No, I know. I'm being facetious as all hell,
Yeah.
but I mean, listen, you're summing up like the overall, the overwhelming majority of America, regular folk.
Yes.
Let's put that on the table. Right now, I'm gonna work my magic, and I'm gonna say that we're all regular people here in this group.
Yeah.
Look at David's like, me too.
Yeah.
Listen, we're all regular people. We live regular lives. We have to work hard. We have to earn money. We have to do things that have relevance so that we can do other good works. Because let's face it, if you can't survive personally, it's kind of hard to help other people. I think we'll all agree on that, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's an important message to get across. And again, I'm being facetious, but the point is that most people live regularly. And like I was discussing with Desiree, it gets really difficult when you have these big moments in life that require a larger amount that's in your normal budget. And so, this was, I don't want to go on record because I'm going to, get caught. All right, so we're going on 7 films that we've done over the course of 3 weeks into tonight, 4 weeks. And this one was good from my perspective, that it was easily comprehensible in the moments. Yeah. That one in particular with Desiree where she gets that. It was just like, I got that immediately. Like regular people know that moment when something good happens and now you're able to do something that is tough, and I'll say it, tight on the budget, right? So I'm going to give you all of you guys basically a hands up, because that was in terms of a film or a movie conveying a message, because otherwise what is film for, right? You're trying to communicate something. That was very, very good in conveying the message of being financially literate. That was very, very good.
Thank you.
So maybe I'll catch up.
And so I want to thank our writer.
Sure.
Our writer, Gwen Alexis. I don't know if she's here or not, but Gwen wrote that story and we manipulated it just a little bit. But Gwen came up with that. And when I read that script, and I think Desiree, as a mom, that script was so relatable. Yeah. Because how many times as a parent you're planning to go pay a bill?
Right.
But then all of a sudden the kid has, a football banquet or, a graduation fee due or something that you didn't know. And now you're like, okay, what do I do here? So I think just from that standpoint alone, it's highly relatable. And then, like you said, all the little nuances she crafted in between. So it was a very well written script.
Put me on record and from me to her. Again, I don't do what you guys do. I'm the layman. I'm just watching. I'm Joe and Jose America. Convey that message from me to her. If she's not watching now, let her know I said that was highly comprehensible and understandable in that moment. That was like a picture of the entire short film. and the message that you guys are trying to get across. That was really good. I can't overstate that, because I immediately got the gist of the entire film just off that moment. So very nice, very nice. David, I'll come back to you for a second. So let's do what everybody's done so far on these nights. Give some props to all the other people. I'm giving you the softball.
Absolutely.
You get the softball. It's a big softball.
Guys, I actually wanted to just say thank you for everyone involved in this project. Absolutely. You know, it's been a blessing even from the moment that I read the original script, from the writing, just as you were mentioning, Michelle, absolutely relatable. I was really excited to see you come on board, as well as be able to just take this and make it your own. You guys were absolutely the right people to get this out to individuals and really to start some information transfer. It's like, let's start some conversations. You know, how do we put ourselves in better positions so this will never come up? How do we develop an emergency fund for ourselves? Not letting a company or a government try to, you know, get something together for us that we have to relay and rely on them. Right. Instead, we should do that personally. So I did want to actually give you guys some more space here. I'd love to hear you talk as well. But before I get off, just wanted to say thank you also for allowing this to come to fruition and to get happening and helping us, you know, get this in front of people. So excellent. Great job. Thank you.
Let me just say really quick too, you know, if it weren't for George and David, it wouldn't have come together. So, you know, thank you for having that initial vision. Thank you for, you know, financing it. Thank you for cheering it on. You know, absolutely. Thank you for having that foresight of the entire project.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
there's David. Oh, perfect.
David Doolin.
David Doolin's back on.
David, can we hear you?
Can you hear me now?
I got you. I got you. So I'll tell you up front, it's been a big old love fest up in here. A lot of love going all over the place. So we got a few minutes here. So give me some love, David. What do you got love for the project? What you going to say?
Well, I mean, the project itself, it was like the amount of people who came together who didn't know each other. I mean, for me, being an actor and also being a financial professional, it was great because I was able to understand things sides. But having a group of people come together that didn't know each other, common purpose like this, and by the end of the day, we were like a big family. It was amazing. Michelle was like Gaia, the mother Earth. Kind of guided us throughout the whole process. So it was really it was a really great project to work on. It was a great story, you know, which was very real to most people that were out there, especially, you know, a lot of, you know, single mothers who are struggling to support their families. And as everyone said before, financial literacy is something that it's, you know, it's not just for kids, it's for us. As, you know, we were never taught this in school. And the way we were taught to do things with money is not the way that things should be.
Right.
And so this project was amazing for all of them. And these relationships have continued on beyond the movie. I mean, I talked to Desiree this time, you know, I talked to George Ohan, I talked to Jerry in Texas, you know, and I'm really happy to see Michelle. So, you know, this family brother, because we want to do more. You know, but we also want to really reach out to family, let them know that there is hope, because what we do as financial professionals,
right?
But also what we're able to convey, because as actors, we're storytellers. We tell the real stories, we convey real life, and so that was it. We were able to do it, so that was really great.
I'm going to throw a little bit. Watch this. So, as a host, I'm going to do some hosts creative license. And it's going to go to each of the four of you, because you just mentioned something. And so I do this on the fly, right? It's not really on the fly because I've got embedded knowledge and you pull what you need, depending on the conversation with good people. So for the four of you, David just mentioned that there are things that you're trying to convey, trying to communicate, trying to get across, trying to tell a story as an actor, in David's case in particular, and Desiree's. But I'm gonna throw this at you guys, and I want you to really grasp this. So you're clear. I'm the product of a single-parent home. I lost my father when I was a little boy, raised by a powerful single mother. I was the oldest son, and Desiree, what we were talking about earlier, I know exactly that moment when my mom was able to take me or do something for me that was not in the budget. Was not in the budget. She had 3 kids, left on her own to fend for herself. I like to joke, for those of you guys that don't know me, and I've never said it on the Financial Literacy Film Festival, my dream growing up was to own a double-wide trailer. That was my dream. Not a joke. I'm deadly serious. Deadly serious. Because I had no concept. I had no concept outside of the immediate, as a little boy, what it meant to be rich, wealthy, or even stable. Even stable. So I'm the product of a single mom, oldest son. She worked 7 days a week, 9 to 12 hours as a waitress and everything else she can do. And in the summers, we went and picked the fields in Central California. Fig, chili, cotton, grape, you name it, we did it. But the message I'm trying to convey is that you guys need to keep doing these types of projects, because mothers like mine and people like me even now need to hear those stories. Do you understand what I'm saying? We need to hear those
Definitely.
stories.
I grew up very similar to you. Right. I grew up, my mom had 4 children and did it on her own. And so
Yeah.
I was the youngest. I definitely understand.
Specifically, I'll say
I've been
it's...
fortunate. I'm married, but
Well, you're even more fortunate because you get to take 10% of Sparkle's earnings.
and I get to take 95% of my husband's earnings, which is wonderful.
That's dirty. He better not be watching. He better not be watching. Okay, we had somebody just join us. Paige. Can you hear me, Paige?
Hey, Paige.
We got you back. We got you back. So it's been a big old love fest. We're going to end up being here till midnight at this rate. Watch, we're going to be here till midnight. That's okay. George is paying me by the hour. Everybody's going to get quiet. Watch. He's getting paid? What? Who got paid? Anyway. Oh, wait a minute. We lost Paige again. I'm sorry. Can we get her back or no? We got Michelle back. You know what this looks like? This looks like the Hollywood Squares.
It does.
I was just thinking.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Here's the story. look at me. I go this way. You go that way. Here's the story. Hollywood. We call it the Central Valley Squares. Okay, so yeah, exactly. He's like. So when we get a chance, we're going to have to get Paige back, but. For you 4 in particular, because of that last message, I'm asking you, without any arrogance or condescension, I'm telling you, continue to do the work you're doing, because it matters to people like me, regular people that live in single-parent homes, that have moms that have to work multiple jobs, that have kids that dream of owning a double-wide trailer. Those messages are powerful and significant, if not altogether very, very important for us to learn. So you're going to like that, right? I'm doing it in a bad way. This is what I meant by throwing people under the bus. I do it all the time, but it's important. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Continue to do what you're doing, because it is important. If you don't do it, can't rely on someone else to do it. I like your message, David. I don't rely on government. I don't rely on other people. I grab and I go on my own. That's where I go with it. Okay, so... need to get going, but thank you guys for being here. Appreciate the time. I had entirely too much fun with all of you, and I'm sure as we go forward, I'll get to meet each and every one of you at some point. If not on screen, then hopefully in person at some point. Okay? Absolutely. All right, thank you guys all for being here. Great work on the project, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so... that was entirely KP's fault. He kept me there too long. You like that, right? Okay, so that was, but listen, that was informative and instructive. We got 4 or 5 at different times anyway, people that worked on that project. And I'm going to say that was a very, very comprehensible film, if not for that one instant when you just see what regular people deal with and what regular people get to live. I got that message immediately, and I'm just like, wow, yeah, I know what that means. So, financial literacy. There you go. Underlying message, always underlying message, financial literacy. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next film, and we're going to do basically the same. We're having fun on a Friday night. And by the way, this is the last installment of the Financial Literacy Film Festival. So if you can't have fun on the last one, when can you have fun? Point being, we're having fun tonight. We're all gonna Wang Chung tonight. Let's get to the next movie preview, and I'll see you on the other side.
Eat your veggies today at school. Carrots, cucumbers, or radishes.
Gotta be late.
Mitch?
Please, Doc, put in my case too. I'll take carrots.
I don't want carrots. Did you eat your carrots yesterday or did you throw them in the garbage? Marie, did you?
Thomas told me to.
And who's Thomas?
Marie has a boyfriend on her first day.
Well, do you have a girlfriend on your first day, Tiger?
Geez, that was in high school. Don't call me Tiger.
Tiger, that's a good one.
Joshi, brush your teeth. You're gonna miss the bus. You haven't even ate. Not ready. Dad, can I have $5? Here, you can take Marie's lunch. Thanks, Dad. Here, eat your breakfast.
Honey, I'm home.
Hey, so I stopped at the store earlier and the card was declined. How much did you spend at the store?
Well, hello to you too. I don't know. How much did you and your friends spend last weekend?
Oh, so it's my fault now?
Oh, you're blaming me. And I'm the one that's been trying to cut back on spending.
We need to stick to a budget. We had that trip planned for months. Regan is my only friend in this town.
So how much money did you spend on her?
She paid her own way.
Well, we shouldn't be going out to fancy restaurants when there's plenty of food in the fridge and nothing in the account. I've got to get back to work. We'll talk about this later. Love you.
Has he called?
No, he doesn't answer his phone. He always talks to the kids at night. He's not with Oscar. I'm not worried, okay? Maybe I am worried.
Look, try to get some sleep. Text me when he gets home.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Who's here this late? Go get the door.
Alright. Mom, the police are here.
Go upstairs.
Ms. Rojas, I'm Officer Palomo, and this is Sarah Nelson from Trauma Intervention.
What's going on?
May we sit down?
Mrs. Rojas, your husband was in a terrible car accident, and I'm sorry to inform you that he did not survive.
Oh, dear God, no.
My deepest condolences.
No.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. The paramedics did all they could to revive him, but he didn't make it.
I'm so sorry, Lily. Here's a list of steps you'll need to take. I'll stop by tomorrow around 10. My deepest condolences.
great. Do you want to practice your power statements on me? I'm really nervous. I haven't worked in 9 years. Come on, practice. Oh, Tony! Tony! It's cute, huh? You look fantastic.
Thank you, Reagan Myers. What's up? Hey, how are you?
Well, have you met my friend Lily?
Well, now I have.
So, how do you two know each other?
Oh, we go way back, all kinds of stories. But, you know, how'd you meet Reagan?
I met her about a year ago, right before my husband. I mean, he was in a car accident.
Sorry to hear that. Well, listen. Well, this Saturday, having a little get-together, you know how we do, at my place. Why don't you ladies come by and just, you know, we'll talk more about it there. We'll tell some stories.
Sounds like fun. We will love to.
All right, cool. I'll see you Saturday. All right, thanks. Nice to meet you.
You too. So, what do you think about Tony? He's cute. He's rich and single. Reagan, don't say that. You're smiling. Look, I'll let the two of you talk, but you should know he lost his wife a few years ago. I know you're not over Robert, but I think the two of you will be really good for each other.
Hey, sister. Thanks for calling me back.
You sounded stressed. What's up?
I lost my job.
What? Oh no. What happened?
My neighbor who was babysitting Anna isn't reliable.
What's that got to do with the job? Just put Anna in daycare.
It's too expensive. I've taken her to work too many times, so they fired me.
You should move back here.
If only.
No if onlys. You'll be okay. I promise. Something will work out. There's always a way. I love you.
I love you too.
Hi, dear.
I thought I'd stop by with some dinner. I know you've been working hard and the kids are a lot to handle.
Oh, Sarah, thank you. I'm so stressed out. Please sit down.
Okay, all right.
I just talked to my sister. I lost my job.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Lily.
I can't afford to stay here with my kids. They've already lost so much. This house feels so different now.
I'm sorry. Well, I thought you could use some company and a break from cooking. But the real reason I came by is because I have a proposal for you. My nephew's company is looking for a full-time saleswoman, and I think you'd be perfect. They'll set you up with health insurance, a retirement plan, everything you'll need. And if you need help with a budgeting plan, all you gotta do is ask.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
That would be wonderful. When can I interview?
My nephew would love to meet you tomorrow at 8. You're gonna love this job. It pays very, very well.
Thank you so much for watching the kids. It was a piece of cake. So, how was Tony? How was your date?
He's wonderful. He took me on his plane, but we couldn't fly because of the fog. So we just stood in the lounge and talked for hours, but I don't remember the last time I got so lost in conversation.
You should hear the way he talks about you. I know you guys only known each other for a few months, but I really think he's falling in love with you. And I haven't seen him this happy in so many years.
You don't think it's too soon?
No. letting someone else into your life doesn't mean you're done grieving. You're not replacing Robert. You're just letting someone who cares about you to support you. You shouldn't feel guilty about it. And plus, isn't tomorrow your first day at your new job?
Yes, a lot of new things are starting, and I'm so excited, and I couldn't have done it without you.
The rise of the veteran athlete. So that's the elite. Sometimes a lot of veterans get out and they say, oh, what am I going to do? However, some people have taken a step further and say, I'm going to continue my service to country and represent my country. If you're an elite and you stand out amongst the 1% of the uncommonality people, I want to see it. If you're a power lifter, I want to hear it. If you're an Olympic skier, I want to hear about it. If you're a triathlon medalist, I want to hear it. What I like to see is the anomaly. Really what I like to interview is a female. I want it to be one of the biggest studies of veteran population athletes. And it's really, really important to, not to me, but to our veteran community to capture that journey of the behavioristic traits, the discipline, the fortitude, and the overall tenacity that these individuals put themselves through. That story needs to be captured and that story needs to be told. It's important to me because veterans are important to me. My brothers and sisters are very important to me. We fought along the same lines in battle, and I need to make sure that I'm continuing to pay this back to them. And this is the best way I know how. Their part is when I get to see where people go mentally. I already know the dietary routine. I already know what they're eating. I already know their workout. You only can work out so many different ways, right? But I get to see where they go mentally. And I have a hypothesis on the study, and I don't want to spoil it, but I think I know what's driving these people, these veterans, these athletes to become, and it has to do with the mental space. And it's just a matter of going through the hard times, putting through that pressure, that you can have these attributes developed, and we all have it. It's just a matter of actually getting after it. And some people hone that skill set, and that becomes very fruitful for them. So I'm just here to ensure that your story is told and made in history for the world to see.
All right. Welcome all. It looks like we have everybody in the house. Let me get a sound check. George, I think you're good, right? Can I hear you?
Yes, sir.
Sound good. Upper right corner, is that Rochelle?
Yes.
Are you moving or is like you're frozen? Oh, there you go. Okay. A little choppy there. Good. And then Faith in my lower corner.
Hi.
There you go. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent. I'm good. Thank you guys all for being here. So just finished watching. That's the first time I've seen that one. I'll say what I said on the last block with the other group. You know, some of these are, you know, they will hit the average person a little harder because there's relevance and maybe there's some commonality there. This one I have some commonality with. Faith, your character. Basically, that was my mom when I was a little boy and I lost my father. That's the exact same thing. My dad went out and he never came home. He got in an accident and he never came home. So I know that exactly, that emotion that you're trying to convey as a woman, that basically your life is literally turned upside down, shattered, and now you have to do everything yourself. And by the way, raise kids and be mom and dad at the same time. So great, I'll say up front and in advance, great job to all of you for being a part of that project, because that one has direct relevance to someone like me. And you know, the message of getting across to a single mom, and we talked again about this on the last block, a single mom having to manage budget, having to manage children, having to manage a new work scenario, having to start career from scratch. So that one hit me right in the gut. And so thank you guys in advance. And let's get right to the particulars. So Rochelle, give me, it says you were the writer on the project?
Yes.
So what do you feel was the best aspect of the message you were trying to convey?
To be prepared financially, we don't know what's going to happen. And if we're self-reliant, for example, if my character Lily and Robert, if Robert had life insurance, for example, maybe things would have been less stressful.
Right. I mean that comes across right away, because she's literally left on her own. And even though you don't have to spell everything out, it's clear she's starting on her own from scratch. There was nothing to build off of after he walks out the door and does not return. Was that an easy message for you to convey?
It was. When I read the list of ideas that George had given me, I immediately went to that one, and it was an easy write.
Okay. Faith, how about you? Same question. So you were the lead actress on this. What do you feel that that underlying message was that you were trying to get across?
Appreciate your loved ones. Never leave them. Never go without saying I love you. Appreciate them, especially what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
Always say I love you. Never take a moment for granted. There's so much ugliness in the world right now, especially. And
I'm there with you on that one. I hear that.
And be prepared, because look at, like, for example, I don't think more than 80% of the people were prepared financially for this. And it's a scary thought what we're going through.
Yeah, we might argue that it's upwards of 80%. Yeah, might be more like 80 to 90. And I think, again, we talked about this in the last block, not a coincidence, because the message that, this whole point to the Financial Literacy Film Festival, your short film in particular, is being prepared, knowing the mechanics of economies, markets, and how it affects you. And what we talked about was, do you really want to rely on government? Do you want to rely on somebody other than yourself when you should be taking control of your own financial well-being? And I've said more than a few times over the 4 nights now, 4 successive evenings, that's the message that, if anything you guys do on this particular one film, if not all 8 films and over 4 nights, that we walk out of here after tonight and somebody watches and says to themselves, you know what, that's a kick in the gut. I better start planning, and I better start learning. If not from this, then I better start going out there and finding out for myself that I need to take charge of my own finances and not rely on someone else. Because if that's the case, then Faith, to your point, 80 to 90% of America is going to be sitting there wondering what's going to happen next. So George, tie a nice little bow on that for me.
Well, you just said it. People rely on the government or somebody else, but a lot of the people who are in the government have never been in business. They themselves are quite financially illiterate, and only approximately 5% of all of the high schools in the United States have a personal finance requirement. So 95% of the people are going out here unarmed.
Right.
And the way the tax codes are set up, they actually need more people to be uninformed so it can work.
Right.
And if it was in the best interest of people to get this information, then maybe we would have seen Financial Literacy Film Festival on ABC or NBC or Netflix or one of the Fox on one of the big networks.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the multi-billion-dollar corporations coming together to do this. I saw a veteran-led, community-led organization just coming in and calling in all stops and doing everything and making it happen. And I do challenge anybody, even PBS, anybody. This is Financial Literacy Month. Did anybody else put out 8 original content films and do this amount of content and talking and conversation about financial literacy? Did they do that? And I'm not saying, ooh, you did or didn't. I'm saying if you did, we want to be your friends. We are actually in alignment with what we're doing with you. We want to link up with you. But I haven't seen it. So how did all of these very large, very rich companies miss this point? It's not on accident, you guys. The system is
your question's obviously rhetorical because the answer is a resounding no. We haven't seen that anything that would be considered big or big budget, massive. And I'll say it, and I'll just put it on record. Is it really in their interest to do so?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't believe so. If it was, they would be doing. There was some other kind of financial literacy, like video series. Microsoft gave $1 million, and they created this 20 video series, like whatever thing on YouTube. And I'm watching. I'm like, this is what you guys did with $1 million? Don't let me get $1 million in my hand, baby. It's gonna be on. You see what I do with no money, And I would say I'm saying no money, but when you're in business and you become a filmmaker, we always say we don't have money because we always want to fund another project.
Right.
But to the credit of the executive producers, they gave us enough money to gain these life experiences that we otherwise would have never had. These friendships that we're building, with Rochelle, with Faith, with Faith's children. I mean, how many adults do you know that are friends with the friends' children? I'm friends with my friends' children. And that's just because we're always working. And Rochelle was texting my wife earlier about the baby or whatever. It's everybody in this thing. This is a family affair.
Yeah.
If we don't trust the person, we usually don't work with them, because we have to spend like 10 or 12 hours with you again and again and again. It's like, dude, if I don't like you, I don't trust you, I'm not going to willingly do that. So that is the, that's the awesome part about this business. And one thing I want to point out, Rochelle is a first-time writer. She has not written a story before. For this story to resonate the way it did with you, she had never written a movie. And she writes it, and you love it. So, bam,
Why
Rochelle
didn't
does
you tell me
your
that, Rochelle? You're holding back?
She's holding back. Faith, she's been in a few things, but all of her children, the kids there at the table, they haven't done much acting. A lot of them, that was their first time in the role doing this. The camera person, the cinematographer, the person who did the lighting, the camera, high school junior, Dallas Lake Coslin, high school junior, out there in Easton High School. Are you kidding me? And so if you like those shots, if you like the lighting, you like that cafe scene, that was a high school junior doing that. And so when somebody's like, well, I've been doing this for 10 years, you got to pay me such and such. And I'm like, bro, a 15-year-old could do what you do? It's not at that level, but we can inspire these 15-year-olds to start to learn trades, to start to learn how to use this technology. And my whole point behind Teach, Coach, Mentor is to teach people how can you earn a sustainable living wage without a 9-to-5 job. Having a 9-to-5 job is not the answer going into the type of future we're going into. We need to be more financially literate. We need to be more aware of our external environment and what's going on. And we need to be more aware of how can we create different streams of income for ourselves. If we don't do that, we're going to be in major trouble. And I don't see the school system. I don't see the university system. I don't see the government. I don't see these major networks, these media outlets doing this education. It's literally you, Richard. You're the host of all of this. There's one host. It's you. We're visionaries, in
That's
doing
dirty.
this, and I hope more people jump on this thing and come on and do this, because people are like, George, did you copyright this? Did you? Oh my God! I'm like,
I'm not going to copyright it. I want people to copy me. I want people to replicate and duplicate this in every city USA. Go ahead. I want people to be financially literate. I'm not trying to profit off this. I'm trying to get this information out there so you can actually live a good retirement and age gracefully. You know, you were talking about this information here is for the single mothers. I was like, well, I'm a married father. No, this information's for a married father. As a man, you know, and military man, we got to take care of our business. I have a little baby. I have 2 little babies. If something happened to me in a car accident, next month, who will pay my rent for my wife? Who will cover down on that?
Correct. Absolutely.
I really don't have that answer. There's nobody. If it's not me, then who?
Absolutely.
And that stuff got real to me. I'm like, damn, dude, that's real. So I'm not going to be shy. I'm not going to be embarrassed. And one major crusade of mine is to break the stigma, stop the stigma of talking about money. If you're broke, so thank God. If you just want to talk about it, so what? If you don't have the information, so what? But one thing we should not do is act like we got it when we don't. We need to stop that. We have to stop it. We have to stop acting like we have money when we don't. We have to stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. That's ridiculous. It's marketing. It's how everything. I'm a marketer, and I'm telling you this. You buy stuff you don't need, and trust me, you do. If you're not on a set schedule, if you're not on a set plan, if you're not doing this stuff, you're going to be trouble. People are living a lot longer. They don't have long-term care in place. Like, if I get older and something happens to me, who's going to take care of me? I don't want to live in some crazy like facility or something. I want to be with my family at home.
Agreed.
There's all these things. Like, we should just talk about this stuff. Let's just talk about it. Like, I would rather my friend hit me up with a conversation and make me uncomfortable and take care of my family. Make me uncomfortable, please. That's how I know you love me. That's how us Joes, we show love. You know, we just were like,
well,
hey,
you know, we could all do that. We could all do that.
Exactly.
Let me do this real quick.
Exactly.
Let me hold you for a second. So, because I'm going to come back to you when we finish up a little bit, wrap up here. Let me get to the 2 ladies real quick. So, Rochelle, you're holding out on me. Come on now. First timer. So, let's do this. So, will you, or I'm going to hope and I'm going to guess with some intent that you are going to continue to write and do projects?
Yes, for not last.
Good. So I mean, and so this is your first time. That's not your day job then, right? You have other things you do, and now you're getting the ability or have the ability now to write and become a part of these projects?
Yes, I've written for about 30 years as a journalist, and I started writing a novel, but this was my very first script for a screen, so it was a lot of fun.
Good. I'll say this, like, you know, I'm a former U.S. history teacher. I was talking to somebody yesterday about education, because this is education too, by the way. Education just in a different medium. But the biggest headache I had as a history teacher was not just the content of what kids didn't know in my system or school. It was how they couldn't write and they couldn't communicate a message. And I cannot tell you how hard that is to deal with as a teacher, is that the written word is kind of going by the wayside. Now it's about emojis and GIFs and other things, communicating the message that are supposed to be in wording. So I'm, like on the last block, I'm not asking you, I'm with no condescension or arrogance, I'm telling you, please continue. Continue to write and continue to be involved in these types of projects, because communicating a powerful message through the written word is so damn important now. It really is.
Very powerful too.
So is that a thumbs up?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So Faith, before we're done here too, so if I'm not mistaken, so you're not a rookie as an actress.
I want to say yes. I've had other projects. I've been acting when I was younger, but I believe you can always keep training and learning. So, yeah.
So still, I mean, and so with the question being, obviously, with the intent to find out, I mean, you're going to continue to do more projects, continue to do more roles?
Oh, yes. I'm going to do more projects. I'm going to do more training, definitely. I believe that, like KP always says, you can never do enough training. And I fully
KP told you that?
KP always says that. I believe that there's always can be training, so I want to focus on training as much as possible. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'll put it on the record because I love doing things on the record. George likes
Yes,
saying
you
it's
can
like
definitely
throwing
put it
people
on
under the
the
bus.
record.
Back it up.
Definitely put that on the record.
So officially, Faith, officially. So going forward after this project, because it was good and you did an excellent job as a lead actress, I officially green light you for any project with George and KP to double your salary. Look at everybody's like, yes, 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 yes. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to thank the two ladies for being with us. George is going to stay with me on this last section. And I want to thank you two in particular, again, from the bottom of my heart. That message resonated with me personally. And I'm going to guess that it resonates with a lot of people. So thank you very much, ladies. It was a pleasure. I look forward to being able to meet you in person at some point. And nothing but great work on the project and nothing but love for you. You guys be safe, be careful, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
All right, homeboy. So time to wrap up. So after 4 weeks of successive evening,
We might have Gary Torres. We might have a little surprise. Gary Torres might jump on. If he does, we'll talk to him. He was the male actor in that last film.
Correct.
So
I
if
remember
he
Gary
does, we'll
because he was
talk.
on one of the prior shorts. If we can get him on.
Yep, Marine
But
Corps
what I'd like to
veteran.
do is, again, going back to the earlier analogy, we've done 4 weeks, 4 successive evenings, talking about the underlying message of the Financial Literacy Film Festival. Why don't you reiterate, if not for me, then for the audience, the month and the official title of the month that your Financial Literacy Film Festival is coinciding with?
Well, there's two things actually. The first thing is Financial Literacy Month, which is why we're doing that. And then there's also Sexual Assault, Sexual Awareness Month,
correct.
Which is really huge. And that's not just for females. There's a lot of males with some sort of sexual trauma, abuse, things like that as well. And so it's just an awareness thing that the awareness part of it is if you are going through something, don't sit there and suffer in silence. Take what it takes to create that courage and just speak up and get the help that you need. So hopefully you will have better days ahead of you. The main point of this whole thing is the Financial Literacy Film Festival. One thing I'll point out about that, 5 out of 8 of the directors of these films were women, and then the remaining 8 were Latino. So without calling this a Women in Film project or a diversity film festival or something like that, just by the people who we're dealing with and just by what we were doing, we already had a very diverse film festival with diverse leadership as well, above the line positions. So that's really cool. With this entire messaging, we just want to spark up conversations. We want to use education and entertainment, edutainment, and have these short bite-sized clips, these films, and maybe say, wow, that could be me. Or maybe 2 days later or 5 days later or a week later, you think about, oh man, that was a dumb little movie, but maybe it wasn't that dumb of a little movie. It was something serious about it that just resonates later. And this is our way of really starting conversations that need to be had. And especially right now with COVID-19 and everything going on, people really need to sit back and evaluate their next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, really figure out, okay, what's going to be my landscape? What's going to be going on? What do I need to do to make sure that my things are in order? And most people don't realize a consultation with the financial services professional is free. They sit down with you, they explain stuff, they do a financial review, all that stuff's free. And I'm not saying to go do that today or whatever, but if it's free and you haven't done one, you might want to do one. Right. Another really, really important thing is training. We're training the people to work on these sets, the actors, the filmmakers, the crew. I mean, everybody else that comes together is doing this sort of thing. And the fact that it has not been done by a large multi-billion dollar network or corporation, that's a shock to me, but actually it's not. People advertise and market the things they want to. For instance, there's organizations out there, there's other military organizations that are in film and things like this, and AT&T or different sponsors give them a lot of money.
Right.
I don't see those veterans from those organizations out there setting this up with my veteran wolf pack. You're a veteran, you're a host, the co-executive director, the executive director of veterans. We got Gary logged on right now. He's a veteran. I mean, it's not a secret that we're actually combining our resources. We're taking our former training and we're saying, you know what? In the civilian community, we're gonna start to show some of this leadership. And one of my major things is to bridge the gap between veterans and civilians. Us veterans, we need a lot more civilian friends because we're about to be a civilian for the rest of our lives now. Yeah. And if it's just veterans in a room, we can get a little too hoorah about things. And I need my civilian friends to bring me right on back down to real life and be like, hey, George, it's not like that. When I first got out of the military, if somebody was 1 minute late, I lost my stuff. I'm like, how could he disrespect my life and my time by being 1 minute late? Oh, no. And all of a sudden, my civilian buddies are like, bro, chill, you're in California, bro. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And so I had to pump it back a little bit. So, you know, we're learning a lot. I've learned so much. I've learned so much about people. I've learned so much about leadership. Rochelle, the writer who just got off, dude, you could call her a producer because she's a beast. She's a monster. Her movie got made because of her out there calling, getting people, getting locations, doing stuff. Like, she was involved. I wouldn't just call her a writer. I would proudly bring her on as a producer on any future projects. Terry Lalea, this guy's a monster. Without him, that movie would not exist. He worked on 4 films. He has a little tiny baby. He's got a wifey. I mean, he's a busy guy. He jumped in there and did it. The people who want to will. The ones who want to step up will. The ones who don't want to won't. The ones who don't want to do something, they'll find every single excuse. And you don't know how many excuses I heard during this thing. But I can't tell people, oh, you're such and such because of such and such. Hey, we got a little program called Teach, Coach, Mentor. We offer some cool opportunities. I hope you step up and take them the way Mr. Gary Torres did. Gary, look at your hair looking better than mine. Look at this. Oh, yeah, man.
Hey, you know what it was? I think Gary was late to camera because he was taking care of himself. Yeah. Somebody's got to, right? I mean, you look good, homeboy. All right, so let's jump.
Can you hear me okay?
What's that?
Yes,
can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry. Yes, I got you. So
I'm looking like I'm delayed here.
It's okay.
Well, watching myself.
So we'll work it. Lip read.
Yeah, so the other one.
So on this project, Gary, because I remember you from the first one. I remember you from the first one a number of weeks ago, and I saw your Marine tattoo. Got a catch. Right. So from the last one, from the first one that I saw you on to this one, I mean, clearly you're the strong silent type. To type, right? Either way, what did you take away from this particular project as opposed to the last one?
Well, the last one, the character was depressed. He was an alcoholic, abusing drugs and alcohol, and so he had those type of issues. This character, he was stressed out about money. You know, he just trying to make ends meet and not living, you know, in comfort where you don't have to, you know, watch every dime that's being spent. You know, it's stressful not being financially, you know,
stable.
Set. So yeah, stable. There you go.
So I mean, I did notice the difference between. Obviously, you did them adequately in both, more than adequately. If you were able to watch from earlier in the last block with the ladies that were on, you know, I started, you know, this particular segment of the interviews with them. I know that message because I lost my pop when I was a little boy. And literally like you, my dad went out to go to the store, never came home, and I never saw him again. And my mom had to, like, literally do everything from the ground up. I mean, that was beyond just, you know, there was no literacy, there was no this or anything like it, you know, running back 30, 40 years ago, right? There was nothing like it. But she had to adjust, adapt, and make things happen. And, you know, if there's a mechanism or a way to convey, educate people, regular folk, on doing some things right now, taking some steps so that, you know, your character doesn't walk out the door and never come back, and now your family is not just burdened, but strapped, stressed, like going forward for a long time, because that ate up ate me up and our family up, for my entire childhood. Is, we struggle.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a pit you can never get out of. You have to climb, and maybe you get there somewhere. For me, it took, probably like you guys, it took the Army to re-educate me and sustain me, learn, grow on how to be self-sufficient. Not so much in finances, because I don't know about you guys, but when I got those first few checks, when I got to my first duty station, oh, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Right? Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't know what money was, till
I grew up in the military. I grew up, I joined the Marine Corps, still 17 years old, and did 5 years in the Marines. What's that, about 10 in the Army? I think.
Yeah, 12.
All right. That's pretty good. That was good.
Yeah.
But I get you. So you're a young dude.
Yeah.
You went right into it, and you guys both know what it means. Like, you first start getting some money, and the concept of stability, of getting a check every month, no matter what, totally blew my doors off. I had no concept of that, because my entire life was, where is the money? Where can we get money? We had no way of framing what stability was, to your point earlier, Gary, of financial stability and some type of security going forward. So, I mean, this one, like I said, I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to go too far, but the two shorts tonight were far more personal for me in the way they were messaged and the story, and maybe some of the others from the prior evenings, the other nights, the first one that you did. My dad wasn't that guy, but he was this guy tonight for you. You played my dad tonight, not the other one, but that other guy exists too, by the way. And so you guys have managed to hit a cross section of what America is and what we deal with. So we've gone way long here. All KP's fault, not mine, by the way. But any comments, Gary? Because I've gotten to see you twice. I loved what you've done, and I'll say it up front. When I was young, out of the Army to now, even with an old Jareen, I love seeing vets kicking ass and doing good things. So I got nothing but love for you, brother. So any comments before we wrap up tonight?
Well,
just general.
I'm just privileged to be a part of this, where it can educate. I can use my craft.
Spoken like a good
use
soldier.
my craft to educate people.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to learn as I was coming up, to read a lot of books and educate myself. But not everybody has that motivation, and this type of message.
Correct.
I think it's more compelling.
Correct.
And easier to understand.
Right.
Than somebody just saying, you need to do this or you need to do that.
Exactly.
People can resonate with seeing somebody's life and that they recognize as their own.
They need to see it, not just hear it.
Right. And so any project that comes up where we get a chance to educate and even mentor, coach or whatever, it's helping me probably more helping others. I need to be active. I need to be involved, and I'm right here, man. So, if I can help somebody.
Candy ass, let's put it on the table. We're all a bunch of vets. I don't want to sound candy ass, but I'm there with you, because I feel at my best, personally, my strongest, kicking ass, when everybody around me is prospering and doing well. And I think we all understand that concept. All of us here, that's for sure. Yeah. And so I'm with you, entirely.
A rising tide lifts all ships.
Correct. Absolutely correct. One last thing before I let you go, Gary, I got to tell you. So I don't know if you friended me or I've got you now on Facebook, but I was clipping through. Sure. Maybe it's something that George sent me. So I hit your Facebook page, and I'm like, this damn guy. This guy's on a diet. This guy's yoked. He's shredded it as all hell. You're putting in work. You're putting in work.
Yeah. I don't just do acting. I also do fitness modeling and stuff like that. So Absolutely.
Hey, well, props to you, brother, because, I mean, I'm not in bad shape, but I ain't shredded like that. I mean, because I'm going to say it. You got to put in a lot of work, and you got to eat properly, right?
He did it for the role. All right, Richard, he did it for the role.
I did it for the role.
Yeah, just the role. Hey, just the role in a suit. My point is, I want to say, hey, congratulations, one brother to another, because I mean, you can go work out and you can put in the time in the gym, on a track, cardio, muscularity, but you got to eat properly, and that's discipline. I'm an old wrestling coach. Eating properly is discipline, and clearly you've got it. So, like I said, props to you, brother.
Yeah, discipline is a driving force in my life, and whatever I set, I use this as an example for younger men, is that whatever you dwell upon, whatever you put your mind to, you could read 20 books on any subject and be confident that you're really knowledgeable about it,
right.
And probably an expert on it. But discipline, definitely. Since I was in the Marine Corps, that was instilled in me, and I have been using that as a driving force in my life. And it's not just acting, it's not just modeling, it's mentoring young men, and
Good
that's
man.
my passion.
And I'll just say it clearly. It shows, and I don't mean the physicality of it, but in the message you're conveying to me now, emotionally through the camera, clearly you mean what you do, and it's showing. So nothing but love for you again. So George, wrap us up for the evening. So you've got your 4 nights, you've got Financial Literacy Film Festival, and going forward, clearly a message, to get out to more people. And what would you like to send out as last thoughts for all the people that have watched, your handiwork over these last 4 weeks?
I just wanted to let everybody know that this has been a very personal endeavor. It hasn't gone without failures. It hasn't gone without loss, and it hasn't gone without sacrifice. Whether it be professional relationships or personal relationships for myself in this endeavor, because I had to drop the ball on a lot of other things along the way to make this happen. And sometimes as a human, as a person, it's like no matter how bad you feel about that one thing, you have to keep, for the greater good, you have to keep the thing going. And I was faced with that several times during this endeavor, because it wasn't just this month, Financial Literacy Month. We've been thinking about this and planning it for a long time and setting it up and doing it. It's quite a bit of work, and I did very little when you look at the big picture. There was a lot of people contributing something, and one thing that I love that Gary Sinise, Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump, what he always says is, we can always do a little more. Right. And I love that. And it's just something that always resonated with me. So we can always do a little more. And everybody here that was part of these projects, they did a little more. Even if somebody was on the project for a day as a production assistant, hey, there's 500,000 people in Fresno, and that one person showed up.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Right.
So I'll take that. And nobody was forced to work on any of these projects. Nobody's arm was twisted. Everybody was completely voluntarily agreed to come on and do it. And if somebody wanted to leave, hey, they were able to leave. Yeah, exactly. You better do this the way you made it sound, Richard. So, the point I'm trying to make is people did it wholeheartedly. Gary, what a true professional. This guy lives in Central Valley. He drives to Los Angeles when COVID's not going on. He drives there for his acting training. I mean, what a professional. Terry stepping up like that. Carlos Anzuras, one of the founders, myself and Carlos have been discussing this. I know people kept dropping my name, but the only reason this exists, the only reason the Financial Literacy Film Festival came to life is because of Carlos Anzuras giving the green light on it. I give a lot of crazy ideas to a lot of other crazy people, but Carlos was crazy enough to say yes. And once he did that, then it was on. And then he was like, dude, and I'm like, you can't put the bullet back in the gun, big boy. Once you say yes to me, it's go time. And he quickly found that out. And so what I do believe we've created is a lot of opportunities for a lot of people in a lot of different arenas. And most importantly, for me, the biggest thing is the relationships. One thing that made my heart smile that I saw tonight, I was like, oh, that's cool. My buddy Richard meeting my buddy John Duffy. That's going to be cool. They're going to like each other.
Guy.
Dude, he's great.
I don't just say that. That dude was...
He's been mentoring me since Hollywood. So I was a young buck. Imagine a young veteran over there. I don't know anything about LA. Yeah. He swooped me under his arm while I was a student, and he said, do this, this, and this. And I've been with him ever since. He's a great guy, and he's all about teach, coach, mentor, mantra. And he's got a very interesting story. You'll love to have him on your show probably.
Look forward to it.
It's just been a lot of work, and it's been worth it. It's been well worth it because I know just from the interactions that you're having from the people who are involved with the show, I'm like, wow, that's major. You were talking about how closely the stories hit tonight. These two stories were saved to be last because when I read them, I actually was in tears. You know, I was like,
those two hit me like they really did hit me in the gut.
They're powerful. Yeah. It's a powerful thing, you know, and creating a world and creating a story is it's this like emotional endeavor. That's what I love about it is as a veteran in the military, we kind of turn off that emotional thing. We're not really allowed to use it very often. And so when you get out, you're like, oh, what's this new thing called emotion? Wow, that's kind of cool. And in the film world, you can use that every once in a while without getting too candy bud about it.
Like what's this emotion? Use this emotion, fire for effect.
Yeah, right? It wasn't the emotion, but but no, man, it's been awesome. I truly appreciate everybody's involvement. This was not for me. This truly is not for me. This was for the people who are working there. The people who gained anything out of this, they can earn a lifetime of income from that first PA gig, from that first whatever, based on what they learned here. They truly can. And if they know me, we could know each other until I have a bigger belly and less hair. We could just know each other for the next 30 years. Let's just keep up that relationship. A lot of people are too busy trying to find a new friend, start a new relationship. It's like, hey, if you slowed it down and look at the 100 people who you do know, you probably got some pretty cool people who could help you get to where you want to go.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we're about wrapped up. So thank you. I'll give my thank yous. One, got to meet some really good people, and I think you're well aware. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy talking to people. That's the best litmus for engaging, growing, and becoming more than what you were the day prior, right? Is meeting people doing this work, which I've said before, I've learned quite a bit being here with KP, Madstone Productions. I don't know why he's always so angry. I tell him, be happy, KP, not mad.
Dude, it's my fault. If you saw the kind of emails, the last minute stuff I send to KP, I'm so sorry, KP. I'm so sorry, dude. I owe you.
You said it. I did it. You said it. I did it.
But, I know what I'm guilty of, dude. I suck. I know.
Yeah, I got KP, got you helping, educating, and that's what it is. I mean, so I'm not from what you guys do. I'm regular Joe America, like all the other folk that are watching. And so if we can get those messages and those underlying concepts and internalize them, you know, comprehensively as an education component, then yes, it is valid, it is valued. It's not just some people putting some work together to make them feel good about, oh, look what I did. No, there's a message that goes forward and that can be utilized by people that did not have that message or did not know it before. So that's important and significant. And I want to thank, I'll definitely thank all the people that have been on air with us over the last 4 weeks. And I absolutely, and no equivocation whatsoever, I absolutely look forward to meeting some of those people, going forward, not just because of the COVID situation, but in general. I'm looking forward to meeting some of those people and having some discussions with them, in the future. And then, like I said, after tonight, I urge, and I'm sure you will continue to do your work, but like I told the others, I don't ask people, I just tell them to do it. And my trick to that and my rule is, I'm telling you to do something that's good. What's wrong with that? You don't have to ask somebody to do something that's good. You have to ask them when it's bad. That's usually, I don't ask people anything. Yeah. Tell
like
them to
that
do
you
it.
do that.
Yeah, when it's a good
I like
thing.
when you do that. When you do that, it helped me learn something too. I was like, you know what? That's cool, because then that person could never in their life use an excuse like, nobody told me to do that. Nobody said that to me. It's like, if you came across Richard, he told your ass.
Well,
he told you.
Yeah, no, so that's it. Okay, so it's twofold. Now, we're digressing here, but it's twofold. One, no one can ever walk back and say, well, that guy didn't tell me that. He didn't tell me what he was doing. No, I tell you exactly what I'm doing. And then two, the motivation, the want, the desire. Sometimes people just need to hear, not ask, not mealy mouth and equivocate. They just need to be told, hey, just go do that because it's a good thing for you and everybody else. And then you'd be amazed at how many people just go do it and they make themselves better for it. That's some stuff that goes back to one of my drill sergeants, by the way. So same thing. Okay, so we're going to be out. I want to thank you again. Thank KP for doing the dirty work as always. Big Money Bobby's in the joint. He told me he's going to greenlight another festival with at least $10K budget. Bobby's the man. You didn't know that? Bobby's the man.
Hey, Bobby's reaping the benefits of all this. He's all
Bobby's
good.
the Big Money G. Bobby B in the place to be. Bobby Business. So, okay, so we're out.
Bobby Blia 2 for Congress, right?
What's that?
Is that the message? Is it Bobby Blia 2 for Congress? Is that the message?
Well, next time around. We'll get him next time. He's got another round to go. The next cycle. Okay. Thanks a bunch, George. We're about to head out. I will talk to you probably in a little bit after the show just for a wrap up. And last but not least, so you've gotten the whole gamut and spectrum of a variety of different topics, all having to do and moving back, like in a webbed fashion, back to the initial component, which we started the film festival, which was financial literacy, being financially literate, fiscally responsible, etc., all those good things. And you've gotten 8 short films by a variety of people from all over the country and from all walks of life. This isn't just their day job. They do a variety of other things. And I'm going to spend a little effort here now just to make sure that you guys that are watching appreciate the work that was done to get to this point, because a lot of it's labor of love. They're not getting paid gas loads of millions, even though my facetiousness and my joking might lead you to think that. Facetious entirely. So show some love, give some respect. Find them on social media. All the people that we've had on over the last 4 weeks, support them by liking, sharing, going to their pages, watching their future projects, informing yourselves about the things that they are doing, about the things that they have done. Go look for things that maybe they were in a film, a year or two ago. Maybe they were in something, or they're going to be in something going forward. That's how you engage. That's how you support. That's how you help people doing good things, good work, right in front of your eyes and for all to see, in this format. So I will say on my end, I've had a lot of fun. Me and KP were joking and laughing between the sets. I hope they never do a behind the scenes thing or we get busted on a hot mic, because I'll be in a load of trouble, baby. I will be in a load of trouble. But I won't deny it. I'll always tell the truth. That's how it goes. So Financial Literacy Film Festival, 4 evenings, available on YouTube and Facebook. KP Mad Talk Productions. Mad Talk TV shows. And say again? YouTube, good YouTube page and Facebook. And does George have a something?
Fulton Film Company.
And the Fulton Film Company, Fulton Film Company that George is the principal in. And so you have all these mechanisms and possibilities of viewing and watching everything that we've done and how to educate yourself. And I will say that, share it and inform other people. Because let's face it, again, apropos of the moment, yes, where we are right now financially in this country is not a great place. I don't want to be too doom and gloom, but just a not so subtle and really, really friendly reminder, we are roughly in $23 million worth of debt. Notwithstanding the coronavirus, that's only going to compound the problem, if not the interest, and amortize all the rest. They're going to throw in lending words at you. We're not in great shape financially as a country. I'm telling you, as individuals, personally, Joe and Jane America out there right now, Jose y Juana America, take charge of your own finances. Because if you're relying on the government or someone else to do it, that's just like grasping water. And I think you understand the concept, okay? It's literally grasping water. So that's all I've got for you tonight. I've enjoyed my time with you for 4 weeks, again with KP, with George, Carlos Anzuras, and a whole bunch of others that we've met over the course of the 4 weeks. But I've had a good time. Even though it's late at night, I got to go get something to eat. I got to get KP something to eat because the guy never eats. Yeah. So nothing but love for everybody. Super Mex is out.